Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about what is probably the most commonly asked problem people have trying to look at PDR data. And that is, I forgot to set the finish line. Can I add them in later? And I'll be honest, for years, everything I knew was, no, you're kind of SOL, like you can't go back and add it. Big hat tip to a guy on the Cosworth support forum that goes by littleozfella. He's awesome. And he showed how you can do this. And then I had to make a few tweaks to what he showed to make this work well for the PDR. So as it just so happens, I was at the track yesterday, and I actually went out for 3 sessions without setting the finish line properly. So I actually have some data to do this on. So we're going to go ahead and walk through it in real time. So this is a little bit involved. I figure I'll preface that right up front, but works well. It just takes quite a few steps. So I want to show you what to do. So if you really want to look at your data and see what your lap times were, here's how you get into it. So first thing you do, open up PyToolbox. And for this, I'm going to recommend you actually start with a new workbook. It's a little cleaner in a couple of places if you just start with a blank workbook. So just do File, New, Blank Workspace, and you get this. And then Alt-1 to take you to Outings and Tasks. Right-click, Add Task. Right-click, Add Outing. And now let's find one of our outings that's not correct. So let's take this second one here. And actually, you know what? Let's do the first one. I actually did the second one as a test earlier, so we'll do the first one, see if it still works. All right, go ahead and open it. And just for fun, we'll go ahead and add an XY time distance chart, rather. Sorry. And, you know, what you'll see if we add some channels, I'll just go ahead and add speed, is you've got one big lap, right? That's kind of expected. So this is a fairly short session, you know, 9-minute-ish, but no lap markers. So how do we do this? Okay, so a couple things we're going to need to do. It's kind of cool. I figure I should start with this. There's actually an option in PyToolbox to add lap markers to files. It just doesn't work in PDR files. So I can click here, and I can right-click, and I can go to lap markers. And normally you would be able to go insert. You can't do that with MP4 PDR files. Works great with PDS files and other file formats, or actually PDS files specifically. I don't know about the others, but can't do it here. So we're going to have to go through some gymnastics to first convert this thing to a PDS file, then go figure out where to inject that, and then inject it. So first thing we want to do is export our file to a PDS file. So again, Alt-1 takes us back to the outings. We are going to right-click, export, outing. So the wizard pops up. Click next. Let's give it a new file name. So sure, we'll call it pdro66.pds. And click OK. And make sure you've selected PDS. I don't remember if that'll be your default or not, but that's what you want. It's a PDS file. If you don't have one of the more paid for versions, a lot of these you won't see anyways, but we want PDS. Click next. You want the entire outing. Click next. So we want to just get at all the channels, unless you're very particular and you just want certain ones. I just like to have all the data. So the easiest thing to do is just hit Control-A to select all the channels, hit the space bar to select all of them, actually select them for export. And then if you just go down with the arrow key, it kind of unselects. And there's a few things we're going to want to go through and actually unselect because they're not channels that were in the data file. They're channels that Pi created as part of opening the data. So let's go through and let's see. Corrected distance, corrected speed, we want to get rid of. Distance we'll get rid of. You could try leaving them in here. I've actually not tried it, but elapsed lap time, elapsed time. These are all calculated values by the software. So lap distance and these map positions. And let's see, looks good, looks good, looks good, looks good. Oh, the wind direction, wind speed ones. Interesting. They're always there. I've never seen any data. I've never seen them defined. So go ahead and click next. Frequency, same as source. Here you have a chance to actually put a comment in the file, which again, you can't do with a PDR outing, but you can do with a PDS. So I'm going to call this CD5V Blackwing session. I think it was 1. So you can go ahead and hit enter, click next. You get at least confirmation, click next, and it exported the file. So great, you've now got a PDS version of your MP4 file. Important to note, you don't have the video though. So the video file doesn't get exported in the PDS. I'll show you how to deal with that at the very end here, but you've got all the data. So what you can go in now is just go right click and let's replace outing. And we're gonna replace that MP4 with a PDS. And we want this one that we just did. So you can see the car name, click OK. So data looks the same. So what we want to do now is there's some math channels you have to define. I'm going to actually put a file up on the HypoDriver website. I haven't done it yet. I'll do it as soon as we're wrapped up here. That has the math channels you can import, or you're going to need to import to do this, because there's a few pieces involved. So I'm going to go ahead and import them. I'll walk you through it. And then we'll kind of show you the process. So we're going to go to, let's see, Tools, PyMath, Import. And I think I am going to call this Lap Marker Maths. So that's what it'll be called. Click Next. So those 3 channels. One is the Distance Toolbox one. If you've seen any of my early videos, that is literally creating the distance channel from the speed channel. It's something you need to have to be able to do anything distance related in Toolbox. And then these other 2 channels I'll walk you through and I'll look at. But these are the ones that are going to help us figure out where to put the actual math channel, or where to put the actual start finish line. So let's go ahead and actually, you know what? I'm going to hold off a second. There's a thing I should have done back on the video side. I'm going to import these and I'm going to bring the other one back up and show you something with the MP4 file. Should have probably done that first. Let's go ahead and import them. Next, next, finish. All right, we'll look at the math channels and we'll come back. So we're going to go in Tools, PyMath, Edit. Again, these are the 2 math channels that littleozfella really showed me how to do. So there's a couple things going on. What we're doing here with this first one is there's 2 constants you're going to have to define that tell you where the finish line is. GPS_lat, GPS_long. That's why I have to actually flip back to the video for a second to show you something. But that's where you're going to define the lat long and the start finish line. And basically what we're doing is defining it as a range of values around a given lat long. Okay, so that's going to define that. And then beacon tag, what that's going to do is, what you'll see is on the time distance chart, it's going to create effectively a line on the chart wherever we've passed that point. So you'll be able to visually see on a time distance chart where is the start finish line. So I don't have to go through and watch the video through every lap to figure out where to insert it. This kind of automates that process, makes it a lot quicker. So we've got these things defined. I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And now I'm going to go back and do something I should have showed you a minute ago. So we're just going to replace that PDS outing back with that MP4 outing that we just had. So we did this one, and we're going to open it. And so let's look at the video, right? So we're going to add display, and it is media. And I'm just going to drag it down here just so it's a little bit easier to see. All right, so this is your video channel. Alt-2, double click on video. You now have the video from your outing, right? So you can click along, syncs up. So the thing we want to figure out now is where should the start finish line be? Now, there's a couple ways to do it. One way has nothing to do with the video, and I'll show you that right now. So if you have the GPX file, like if you're like me and you had it and you just forgot to load it or forgot to set it, If you open up the map GPX file, this is what they look like. This is at least from a Gen 1 system. The Gen 2s are a little different. But right at the beginning here, what you see is the definition of the start-finish line. And so you have a minimum lat, a maximum lat, a minimum long, a maximum long. What you can do is just take the min from the max, find the spot in the middle, subtract them, find a spot in the middle. Same thing with the long, find a spot in the middle, and let that be defined as your GPS underscore lat, GPS underscore long. So that's one way to do it. The other way you can do it is what I'm about to show you, which is with video. So we're going to go ahead and, let's see, we're on Shenandoah, coming down to the straight. Oops. Where are we? Where are we? I've gone too far. Nope, it's climbing the hill. Tell you what, let's just watch. All right, here we go. So on Summit Point Shenandoah, the start-finish line is right about where that, that little stand is. I'm actually going to go forward a little bit because there's these marks on the pavement, and I'm just going to use those. So I'm just using the arrow keys to advance frame by frame until I'm right even with these marks on the pavement. That may or may not be the start-finish line. That's what I'm going to use for this. So now what I want to do is on my time distance chart, Alt-2, oops, Alt-2, and I'm going to add latitude and longitude, longitude, latitude. All right, so this is our spot. Make sure we don't move off of that. We also need to do, for latitude and longitude, go change the decimal places to, I don't know, 6 places. Same thing for longitude, 6 places. All right, so now we've got, you know, good, long, kind of detailed latitude, longitude data. All right, so now we're going to create our constants. Tools, constants, edit. Click on the plus sign. First one we're going to do is GPS underscore lat. And we'll go type in 39.242.078. Oops. And sometimes having to write punctuation is good. 242.078. And now we're going to do GPS long. And that's negative 77.9808.47. The bear's old eye is getting to be able to read all those numbers. We're going to go ahead and apply. Okay. Now, we're going to go ahead and add the channel for... Oh, I need to load those math channels back in. So what we're going to do is use the video to actually verify the lap channels are in the right place. Probably need to define those. Yeah, actually we already loaded them. They should still be here. So beacon missed math. And what you're seeing is, I'm going to take these other channels out. Now what you have is lap marker, lap marker, lap marker, lap marker. So what it's done is literally set a 1 where there's a lap marker, where you've passed that spot. So in order to insert the lap beacons, we need to go back to our PDS file. So again, Alt-1, we're going to go back over here. We're going to replace this outing, and we're going to pick that PDS file that we created a few minutes ago. And that is this one. Okay. So again, the math channel is defined. We haven't closed the workbook. The constants are defined, so nothing changes there. So what we're going to do now is click on this, and then I just use the zoom key, the Z, to kind of zoom way in. Pick a spot about in the middle. Right click, lap marker, insert. And you can see it said, okay, you're at 133.06 seconds. And we're going to back out with a backspace key. And go to the next one. Zoom in. And right click, lap markers, insert. Back out. Zoom in. Oops. Lap markers, insert. And okay, lap markers, insert. Okay, so now we have defined lap markers for the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 laps that are in this outing. Well, 4 plus an out lap. And you can see over here on the left, it now gives me that. So I can do select, regions. Let me pick what was my fastest lap of that particular session. I'll go ahead and select it. I can now, do my normal thing, add some channels. Let's add speed. Well, let's just add accelerator, brake. Did I not export speed? I don't see speed there. I may have failed to export that. Well, that's kind of silly. Okay, anyway, but there's some data channels, but I don't have the video. So this is the cool thing about PDS files. You can actually use video that's separate from the actual data file. So you could actually use like a GoPro video, or I use Catalyst video for the Porsche where I'm importing aim data. But for this case, we have the full data because we have the PDR file. So what we need to do is click over here, and we're going to remove this existing video. And now right click, add new media channel. Next, media. And we're going to just pick that PDR file. So it was this one. So this is the PDR file we used to create the PDS file. Done. And now I find it's a little wonky at first. So what you typically have to do here, at least what I saw, was delete that, re-add it. Oops. Re-add the media. Alt-2, add the media, and now it's there. So this is super cool because it is aware of where you are in the outing and which lap you're in. So it's actually indexed against the time in the main outing. So you can do all the things you normally would be able to do with an MP4 file, but now you've just got a separate file you're working with for the video. So there you have it. The lap markers are saved in the PDS file. You don't need to do this again. This is a one-shot thing. The linkage to the video file is in there. So at this point, I can close Toolbox, go back in. It's going to work great. So I hope you find this helpful. Again, for me, I was really frustrated. Like I had fun yesterday, and I didn't know what any of the lap times were for the first 2 sessions. So now I was able to go in and figure that out. So let me know if you have any questions. Hope you all enjoyed this. Hope it's helpful. Have a great day. Bye.